The Wolf and the Seven Little Goats, a timeless English moral story. In a peaceful forest, 7 little goats live happily with their loving mother. But when danger lurks in the form of the sneaky, big, bad wolf, these clever kids must rely on their wit and wisdom to stay safe. Will they fall for the wolf's tricks, or can they outsmart him and protect their home? Stay tuned for this timeless English moral story, where bravery, trust, and quick thinking are the key to survival. Welcome to English Stories with Sherry, where every story helps you speak better English. Learn grammar, pronunciation, and vocabulary the fun way through powerful stories you'll never forget. Once upon a time, deep in a lush green forest, there lived a kind and loving mother goat. She had 7 little kids, each as playful and curious as the next. Their home was a cozy cottage nestled between the trees, where the sunshine always peeked through the leaves, and the sound of birds chirping filled the air. The mother goat loved her kids dearly and would always tell them stories about the world beyond their little cottage. But she had one important rule: never, ever open the door to strangers. One bright morning, the mother goat decided to go to the market to buy food for her children. As she prepared to leave, she gathered her kids and gave them one final piece of advice. "Children, I am going to the market today. While I'm gone, you must stay inside. Don't open the door to anyone, especially not to the big, bad wolf." Her little kids, innocent and eager to explore, promised to obey her. They gathered near the door, their small hearts full of anticipation, but their mother's warning echoed in their minds. She kissed them goodbye and set off on her way. Soon after, the door creaked open, and a shadow loomed at the window. The sneaky wolf, who had been watching the cottage from afar, saw his chance. His eyes gleamed with hunger, and his stomach growled as he licked his lips. He knew the mother goat was away, and he would stop at nothing to get his paws on her little ones. The wolf knocked on the door, his voice dripping with sweetness. Little goats, let me in," he called, "I have some delicious treats for you." But the little goats, being wise beyond their years, remembered their mother's warning. "Who's there?" they called back, peeking out the window. "It's me, your mother," the wolf lied, his voice smooth and calm. "I've come back from the market with goodies for you." The kids weren't fooled. They knew something was wrong. "Show us your paw, so we can be sure it's really you," one of the little goats said. The wolf, realizing his mistake, quickly took off his dark, coarse gloves and showed them his paw, hoping the kids would believe him. But when the little goats saw the wolf's paw, they gasped in fear. "No, no!" they cried. "Our mother's paws are white and soft, not rough and dark like yours. You are not our mother. You are the big, bad wolf." The wolf growled, furious that his trick had been discovered. He stomped his feet in frustration and tried again, this time using a different tactic. He rushed off to the bakery in the village and rolled his paws in flour, trying to make them appear white and harmless. He returned to the cottage, this time knocking gently and speaking in a much softer voice. Little goats, I'm back with treats for you," he said, his voice as sweet as honey. The kids hesitated, but then they remembered their mother's advice. "Show us your paw," they demanded once more. The wolf, now desperate, showed his flour-covered paw. But as the little goats peered through the window, they noticed something strange. The wolf's paw was still too rough, too dark, and too large to belong to their gentle mother. "No!" they shouted, "we can see your true form, wolf. You are not our mother." Frustrated, the wolf decided to try one last time. He went to the tailor, where he dressed himself in a white apron and a soft bonnet, hoping to disguise himself as the mother goat. With his new appearance, he went back to the cottage, knocked on the door, and said, little goats, open the door. It's me, your mother, back from the market." This time, the little goats, unsure and hesitant, whispered among themselves. Could it really be her? Maybe she has returned and is dressed in something new. They wondered. But before they could open the door, they noticed something peculiar. Though the wolf looked like their mother, his voice still had that deep, growling tone. They couldn't ignore it. They peered through the window and saw the wolf's tail sticking out from under the apron. "This is it!" one of the kids screamed. "That's not our mother. It's the wolf in disguise." The little goats immediately ran to the other room and hid. The wolf, angry and frustrated, began banging on the door. "Let me in! Let me in!" he roared. But the little goats were too clever for him. Suddenly, just as the wolf was about to break down the door, the mother goat returned. Hearing the noise, she quickly ran to the cottage and found the wolf trying to force his way inside. Without hesitation, the brave mother goat chased the wolf away, sending him running deep into the forest, where he would never bother her or her children again. The little goats came out of their hiding place and ran into their mother's arms, relieved and safe once more. "Thank you, Mother, for protecting us," they cried. The mother goat smiled gently and kissed each of her little ones. "You were very wise to remember my warning, children. You must always trust your instincts and never let anyone deceive you, no matter how they look or sound." From that day forward, the little goats learned a valuable lesson. They understood that appearances can be deceiving, and that trust must be earned, not given away freely. And the wolf? Well, he learned the hard way that you cannot fool everyone, especially not those with a strong, trusting heart. And so, the goats lived happily ever after, safe and sound in their cozy cottage, knowing that no matter what challenges came their way, they would always be together, always protected by their mother's love. The story of the wolf and the 7 little goats is one that teaches us all the importance of wisdom, trust, and listening to the voices of caution in our lives. It reminds us that we must stay vigilant, make wise decisions, and be brave in the face of danger. Because sometimes, those who seem harmless may be hiding a dark side, and only through careful thought and quick action can we protect ourselves from harm. Thanks for listening to English Stories with Sherry. If you learned something new today, like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful stories that make learning English easy. See you in the next one.